What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Across the Pond, where two American boys talk about the world of soccer/football. I am the host.
I'm going to make you pick a side one of these days.
I am the host again, Richard Dio, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard, in a special edition of Across the Pond because there's so much happening this week in the world of soccer, or this past week and this week.
You
International
picked a
break
side. You picked a side. You only said soccer. Gotcha.
and football.
No.
It changes.
No.
Okay, whatever. Anyways,
Got him.
as we keep moving, this episode 9 of Across the Pond, we are going to be talking about the draws for the UEFA Champions League and who we think are going to get out of the groups. And we're also going to talk about some little rule changes or might be happening, might not have happened. And then we got UEFA Nations League we're going to talk about. And then are we going to talk about the U.S. men's national team or no?
I mean, we can talk about that, sure.
Okay. We're going to talk about that at the very end. So if you're a U.S. men's national team fan like us.
Do you believe that we will win? Sorry, it was bad timing. No, it was just I believe that we will win.
But anyways, we are going to talk about our favorite thing to talk about sometimes. Just because the way we talk about it before we start.
The champions.
I like butchering that. Anyways, I think the reason why we probably kind of started this podcast is every time we bring up Champions League, that's what we say every time, no matter what.
I mean, isn't that what everyone does whenever they bring up Champions League?
I don't think so. I think we're just the weird people that do that.
All right.
So, that's not embarrassing at all. Draws happened, last Friday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Last Thursday, the draws were read out by Kaká and distributed into the groups by Diego Florin, right?
Forlan. Yeah. Forlan.
Forlan?
Forlan.
Whatever. Okay. Anyways, they were read, and we saw like representatives of the clubs smile in weird ways.
Hide their pain.
Yeah. But regardless, we're going to go group by group, predict who we think are going to get 1, 2, and just, move on from there. Yeah, let's go. Move.
Let's do it.
All right. Group A, we got Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Club Brugge, and AS Monaco.
Monaco. Ooh.
It seemed like as we're going to go through this, like the groups get somewhat more difficult after each other, or maybe in this, or depends on whatever your debate is. But yeah, the first 3 groups are pretty interesting for me.
I believe the word you're looking for is lit.
Yeah. But regardless, Atletico Madrid, I think, easily is going to get out of this group.
Easily.
Yes.
Let me remind you, Atletico Madrid did not get out of their group last year.
That was last year.
Won the drop points to Quarbag, wherever they're from. I don't remember. I want to say it was like Czech Republic or something like that, but I don't think that's right. You have Atleti going through like easy peasy first place.
The number 2 team for me is going to be the question mark.
I'm gonna go big or go home here. I am going to put Dortmund first.
Okay.
Not because I necessarily believe in them, but because that's the way this has to go if this is going to work. And then my question mark is actually between Atleti and Monaco.
Delicious.
But I'm going to give it to Atleti.
Yeah, I think the way Dortmund has played this tournament the last couple of years is just like there's too much inconsistency for me.
Well, I mean, last year they had Spurs that played much better than they should have.
Yeah.
And
Real
Madrid. So
I think I'm not saying that Madrid and Atleti are the same team, or Monaco or Spurs are the same team, but I feel like they're gonna, if they have the chance to struggle out of the favorite teams, I think they are going to do it. I think Atleti will get their poop together and be able to get, because I see them, because they get the first home game against Dortmund. That's the first game. I see them getting the 3 points out of that. Dortmund needs to get all 6 points against Club Brugge, and then at least get 3 points against Monaco.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but the first games
Oh,
are
okay.
Monaco, Madrid, and Bruges, Dortmund.
Okay, regardless,
Sorry.
so Dortmund needs to win day one for me.
Well, Dortmund has the easier game.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard. What's tricky is all of their league forms so far have been kind of questionable. Atleti dropped points to Valencia, who I guess are like a pretty relatively decent team, another Champions League caliber team. The first game of the season, I think that was, and then Dortmund drew to Hanover in their second game of the season last Friday, and Monaco just lost to Marseille this past weekend. So on like current form, and Atleti also lost to Celta Vigo last weekend. So they're down. They've dropped points now in 2 of their opening 3 games in La Liga.
I think with that said, though, I think they're going to take the Champions League a little bit more seriously than La Liga, though.
Fair. I mean, I believe you that they're going to take it more seriously, but are they a better team?
Monaco without Lamar and Fabinho. Jesus. I think without them, that's like 2 parts they need to help out Falcao to just get goals.
Okay.
And Dortmund, like I said, the Dortmund, Monaco are the question marks. I think Atleti is the best team out of all these teams for me.
Okay.
So Atleti, Dortmund, you got.
I'm going Dortmund, Atleti.
Atleti. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Group B. We got Barcelona, Inter Milan, PSV Eindhoven, right? Eindhoven?
Yes.
And Tottenham Hotspurs.
Hotspurs.
Sorry. Interesting group. I think you wanted Milan or Inter in the next group.
I did. But actually, now that I'm looking at it, that couldn't have happened.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't see that until like later you told me. And I was like, I don't think that's how it works.
Because they can't have 2 Italy teams.
But regardless, interesting group. I don't feel like this is the group of death, like the best group, but it's a damn good group. I think it's going to be entertaining to see Tottenham get destroyed by Barcelona. What?
Oh, I guess that means you think Group C is a group. Okay, sorry. Just like you're holding, like you don't think this is a group of death. Kind of threw me for a second.
Group C?
Because I take this as the group of death.
This?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I think Group C is a group of death. But we'll get into that when we get to Group C.
Sure.
Group D, or no, B. I have Barcelona, and I want to be a little dick about this, but I'm going to go Inter Milan too.
I don't think that Spurs are going to be able to replicate what they did last year against Dortmund and Real Madrid, which is why I'm going to agree with you in this case, and I'm going to go with Barcelona and Inter, despite the fact that Inter have had such a slow start to their domestic campaign. I do think that like they have yet to have Raja Nainggolan play for them. So like there are still pieces coming back that like haven't really got Inter going yet. And I believe, except for like center forward, well, I don't know. I mean, Mauro Icardi is, I think, really underrated in general across Europe. He's been one of the top goal scorers, if not the top goal scorer for the last like 3 or so years now in Serie A. So I'm kind of surprised that he actually hasn't made a bigger jump.
Loyalty.
Well, yeah, I guess he is captain now for Inter, and I think that like I would put him over Morata at Chelsea. I would put him over Firmino at Liverpool. I would put him over at Benzema, Real Madrid. There's like places he could go that I think he would be a better fit than what's actually there. So I'm still kind of surprised that he's there. But yeah, I mean, if he is, from his point of view, like it is a loyalty thing, then I guess good on him. Yeah. But yeah, I think Spurs are going to come up short this time. And the reason why I have this as my group of death is I think that PSV is a much stronger 4th team in this group than Red Star Belgrade.
Well, I'll explain why the next group is group death, but regardless, so I got Barcelona, you got Inter, same thing.
Yeah.
Group C, we got Red Stars Belgrade. Is it Belgrade or Belgrade?
I think it's Belgrade, but I don't know. I'm sure if they said it, they would say Grad. But
okay. Liverpool, Napoli, and PSV or PSG. Jesus. I got Liverpool going 1. After watching Napoli so far, at the moment, I'm gonna have them go 3. I'm gonna have PSG go 2. And the reason why this is a group of death is Red Stars is not gonna score a single point or get a single point out of any of these games. I feel all the actual matchups are gonna be head-to-head matchups. When a big game, I feel is gonna be Napoli versus PSG, and who's gonna take those points?
What will probably determine this group realistically, just about, is the first game of the season, which is PSG. Sorry, not season. The tournament. I believe, if I remember correctly, the very first game of this group is PSG at Anfield. So that's going to be a really, really huge game for Liverpool. As good as Liverpool did getting all the way to the Champions League final last year, I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that. They're already not getting the same performance from Mo Salah that they got last year. They are picking, like, Sadio Mane is picking up that slack. Like, he has 4 goals in the league so far. But I personally do not trust Mane to keep that up. I think that people also have like a full season's worth of film to study Liverpool, especially the bigger teams. PSG are doing nothing but waiting for these bigger games now. Like, Liga is nothing to them. They're giving like youngsters starts, and like League One doesn't mean anything for them. So I am going to have PSG first because I still believe that they are the better team with Mbappe. Like, I just think Mbappe, Neymar, Cavani, in my opinion, is a better front 3 than Mane, Mo Salah, and Bobby Firmino.
I would say yes, that if they can play together against top opponents that way. But the way they play against like the lower end opponents in Ligue 1, if they can't translate that into these kind of European tournaments, which I don't think is going to happen, as well as they think it's like you think it's going to be, I think Liverpool has in my eyes, I think they have not a better midfield, but a more cohesive midfield to where they'll be able to protect the back line a lot better than what PSG is going to do. And I feel like the Liverpool has more to offer besides those guys up top as well. Because I think it's going to be interesting how it all works. Because of how this that week against Tottenham, what they're going to play, and then that next week or during 3 days later or 4 days later, they have the PSG game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see that lineup and to see maybe if Salah is going to be left out or not. We'll see. But like I said, I still have Liverpool going top and PSG going right behind.
And so why is this group the group of death over?
Because like I said, like everyone's going to take all points against Red Star. All the games that are going to matter.
See, that's I guess we just have like different ways of thinking about this, because like why I have Group B is that I believe that like in Group C, like you just said, no, Belgrade is not. If you don't believe Belgrade is going to take any points off of any of those teams, like then that's a game that none of them have to worry about.
Yeah, but
I believe 100% that PSV can take points from all 3 of those teams in that group.
Yeah, but like
that's why
I get your definition, but I feel like what's gonna matter. I think the only team that matters coming out of this group is Barcelona. I think the whatever the second place team is gonna do, dick in the next round. So that's.
But that's not the point.
To me, it is. That's my point.
Okay, sure, but I mean, like,
because if Barcelona goes 2, then they're playing.
So Barcelona goes.
They're not gonna play like a Madrid. They won't play both Madrid.
Barcelona wins the group, but it's not going to be really that easy for them. I don't think they're going to do it, but it's not going to be that easy for them. Any of those other 3 teams can win the Europa League. That's why this is the group of death.
I don't know. I don't know about Tottenham or Milan winning the Europa League. I think it'd be competitive. I don't think it's a guarantee.
If Sevilla won the Europa League 3 consecutive years or whatever, any of those 3 teams can win the Europa League once.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. That's why this is a harder group. That's why Group B is a harder group.
No, I don't think it's a harder group.
All of those games are more competitive.
Yeah,
The-
but
the only
most
games
important
that
are
really-
the ones you're playing against the top opponents, though.
But
I felt-
all of those are top components, top opponents. That's my point.
Yeah, no, still not to Group F. Anyways, Group D. We got the weakest group, probably, out of all of them to be drawed.
Probably.
I don't know,
For
man.
sure.
Someone might argue for the Group F or Group E, but
No, because no, you have ridiculously flawed logic in this whole thing.
no, it's not. I'm talking about the number 2 team that's coming out.
No, I know.
That's what I mean by that. I rate things differently than you do.
Clearly.
Yeah. Here we go. Group D. We got FC Porto. Shaka is. They don't have like an FC Shaka, or is it Shaka
It's
FC?
Schalke 04.
04. Galatasaray and Lokomotiv Moscow. This is, yeah, definitely the worst group. I don't know what team to pick, honestly, because that's how, like, I think if they would have ended up in any of these groups, any other groups, they'd be like, okay, maybe they might take 3 points against the heavy favored team, but in them getting into these groups, I think this is the most irrelevant group, because regardless, whoever the second place team in any of the other groups is going to be pretty happy to draw against the top team in this.
I agree with you.
So
I
this
think
is going to be a relevant group.
I think that like both of the teams that come out of this group are going to be are most likely anyway to be, and I would say like maybe second place in E or second place in F, or second place in G really too, although it could be Roma. But Group D, I think like both of those people that come out are going to be who everyone else wants to draw. But I guess the only reason that it's a really interesting group is that it could literally be any of these 4 teams that come out. I'm going to go with Porto to win the group. I think that especially with the collapse of Lisbon in their domestic league, really the only people they have to worry about is Benfica. So I think that like that's taken some of the pressure off domestically for them. And I think the Portuguese teams are always a little bit underrated in Champions League play. So I'm going to go for Porto to win. I think Porto is the best team in that group. In second, I'm going to go with Galatasaray. I think that they have had some good performances and good results here or there when they're normally thrown into like groups with bigger teams. And I think that like that environment in Turkey is ridiculous.
Yeah, they're I think in Europe they're like top 3 in like loudest stadiums.
Yeah. So I just think that like without any truly high level competition, that's going to give them an edge. So I'm going to go Porto 1, Galatasaray 2.
I'm just gonna switch yours from Galatasaray 1, Porto 2. I think Moscow might have the edge of going out all the way to Moscow, but I think Turkey has the better edge of teams going to them. But this is like a really spread out group because it's Portugal, Germany, Moscow, and then I don't know where Galatasaray is located. I don't think
Turkey.
Yeah, I know, but like the actual city.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a long way.
Yeah, it's a long way. Yeah, there's nothing much to debate about this in a way. It's just like you kind of just like closing your eyes and then shooting, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It could go literally any way, but we'll see. We'll have to watch and find out.
We'll watch and find out.
Although very few of those games will be on in the U.S. anyway, because whatever the other group is that's also playing that day is going to be the game.
Oh, it might be on like Twitter or something like that.
I hope so. Otherwise,
last
it's not going to
year,
get any views.
Group E, AEK Athens versus Jesus. Group E, AEK Athens, Ajax, Benfica, Bayern Munich. I think we know the clear number 1.
I wonder who's going to win this group. I really have to think about it a lot. I've been thinking. I know we were going to talk about this.
This is the hottest group ever. Bro.
Yeah. So reluctantly, I'm gonna have to go with Bayern Munich to win this group. Number 2. I'm gonna stick with what I said about Portuguese teams in the league, and I'm gonna go with Benfica.
I'm gonna go with Benfica 2. Yeah, Bayern 1, Benfica 2. Actually, Benfica. I think it was last year. They got grouped in with Bayern last year, Benfica, and they actually were up. But I think they lost the game at the very end. Like
Okay.
Bayern had like a really great comeback in the group stages. I believe it was either the group stages or the knockout stages, the first round. But Benfica is a good team. I like Ajax, but I don't think it's gonna work for them because from what I saw against Vaha, it seemed I just seemed scared, even with Tadic, who's finally gonna be playing in Europe for the first time.
Tadic
in a
and
while.
Huntelaar.
Huntelaar and Daily Bin. So,
Yeah.
well, Daily Bin played last year, but regardless, I think that's an easier group to gauge and see where it's gonna end up. It just depends on how Ajax. But who knows? Athens might be able to show up. We'll see. Moving on. Group F. We got Olympic Lyon, Manchester City, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Hoffenheim. Obviously, the clear favorites, not just in this group, but in the tournament, I think is easily going to be Manchester City.
I think we're easily favorites in the whole tournament.
Well, no, that's. I mean, like I meant for the group,
Okay.
but
All right.
that's I was going to what I was going to pick my group for number one. But
Fine.
I don't think it's going to be an easy tournament. But regardless,
Yeah.
Manchester City. Wait, what do you mean? What?
No, continue, please.
One. I'm gonna go Hoffenheim 2.
Ooh. I have City going through this group relatively easily. And, I mean, I don't want to come off as a little cocky here, but to me, we were talking about in our last episode about like the Champions League games coming, and I said that like City are going to have the least impact. And like this is why. This is their group. I think very realistically that we could rotate in the Champions League and keep our full team in the Prem. Even just like rotate a little bit, like a couple guys here and there. Like I'm not talking about like playing a full B team, like especially when we're going away to like Hoffenheim or Shakhtar or Lyon. I mean, literally any of those places. But for the second spot in this group, I'm gonna go with Shakhtar. Shakhtar beat us. We had Shakhtar in our group last year. They beat us. I believe it was 2-1 in the last game of the group. But like we had like kind of a B team. The group was already over. As far as like who was going to get out, and we had already clinched first place in the group. But they did beat us. They play very well, and very similar to the reason why I have Galatasaray second in Group D. I think just the environment and the atmosphere for Shakhtar in Ukraine is like equally intense, and so I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna give them the edge there when they have Lyon and Hoffenheim with them, and they have some pretty dynamic. Like Brazilians especially in like the midfield with like Tyson and people like that.
Well, I think that's my because they don't have Bernard. They lost Bernard and they lost Fred this past year. So I think that's a lot more big of an impact to them. And that's why I think Hoffenheim's style in Europe, I think, is going to be different. I want to see them play. I forgot the manager's name. But they're interesting. I like watching their team when I have a chance to watch them. But even though it's like a Dortmund or a Munich game always on Fox Sports instead of them. Lyon, I mean, their playmaker right now is Depay. I don't see them doing anything more with that. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I just like Hoffenheim for some reason. I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
Here we go. Moving on. Group G. CSK Moscow, Real Madrid, AS Roma. How the hell do you pronounce that? Pleasant?
It's
Please?
Victoria Pilsen.
Pilsen?
Yeah.
Victoria Pilsen, the Czech Republic team,
Yes.
who haven't been in the tournament in a while. I believe.
Long
Yeah.
time.
Damn, I didn't even. Jesus. That must be weird. That be your team. I don't know. Sorry. Anyways, obviously they're not getting out of this group. It's unfortunate for them. But hey, they get to make a trip to Madrid, Roma, and Moscow for their away fans. I think
So you have
I have Madrid,
Real Madrid going first?
Madrid and Roma. Even
Okay.
though I don't like Roma this year.
Roma have good pieces, but they haven't been playing well to start the year. I'm gonna put Real Madrid first. I think that's a little bit obvious, even without Ronaldo. I think the absence of Ronaldo is gonna show up in the knockout stages, and not in the group stage, especially this group. Like I would say like Real Madrid in a group similar to they had last year with Spurs and Dortmund would have without Ronaldo would have had a much harder time than they did. And so like this is a much easier group for them, and a group that they can get away not because they honestly they didn't replace Ronaldo with anyone. So
they brought in what's his name from Lyon, Moria,
okay,
and then they brought in that one guy I told you about.
they took number 7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
some like Brazilian kid.
Yeah,
I almost want to give it to CSKA, but I'm gonna give it to Roma.
dude, CSK
finishing
couldn't
second.
beat us with Van Hall, man. It was like, I don't know, CSK.
Yeah,
just,
I don't really judge them for that.
I don't know. They just like I seem like they just go to the tournament and they're just
They shouldn't
there.
be able to beat you. So
Well, no, I'm just saying like Van Hall is like disastrous sometimes. It's
Sure.
like, how are we losing to these teams?
you mean teams like Brighton?
Well, like yeah, but like I'm talking about like in Champions League.
Okay. I'm gonna go with you. I guess agree with you. 1 Real Madrid, 2 Roma.
Yeah, I think actually Madrid, we might see that in the group stages. For me, I think their more youthful and more high pressing system is actually scary. Than what, like it just seems like it's gonna develop into something better. I think you see more of Benzema now. He's actually the coming weeks that he's already had, like I think a goal each game plus.
Yeah, I mean Real Madrid haven't played anyone yet,
Yeah, but I'm still saying though. I think like
and
the
they
system-
lost. The only team that they have played really this season was the Super Cup final against Atleti, which they lost 4-2 in extra time. I think.
Yeah, but I think it's like sorting out the back line is going to be them for that. But I don't know. I think Madrid, they're going to be fine in a way.
they're going to be fine until the knockout stages. Then for me, there's
Yeah, it depends
worries.
who they get in the knockout stages.
Yeah.
Moving on. Last group. Group H. Oh, we got Juventus, Manchester United, Valencia, and good old Young Boys. Whew. This is an interesting group. I like Valencia.
How much do you like Valencia?
Shut up. Valencia made a lot of good acquisitions this past transfer window. The Voss. They just brought in Gamero. They brought in another guy that you said earlier, Promise.
Quincy Proms. Yeah.
Yeah, Proms. So they got a lot going forward, and they still have Neto in the back line. They have who's their center back? They have a decent center back there.
No, that's Villarreal. I don't remember.
But regardless, they look better this year. This one's tough because I'm so scared of United dropping points against Young Boys or or Valencia. If we drop points to Young Boys, then we're done. Valencia's going to easy. I think we play Juve first, right?
No, you play at Young Boys first.
Okay, thank God.
At Young Boys, home to Valencia, home and away with Juve, and then backwards from there. I think
Yeah.
Valencia again. Yeah, home and away to Juve.
I think after this international break, we'll have everything sorted, hopefully, and I think we can be number 2 out of this group, which I'm fine with, but not fine with because that increases the percentage of us drawing like a Madrid or a Barcelona in the knockout stages because City will easily get through. I have Liverpool, but Liverpool has a chance of not winning that group. I don't think Tottenham's going to get out of that group for Barcelona. So it depends.
It does depend.
So Juve 1, Manchester United 2.
All right, this is where my truly bold prediction comes.
Old Schneiders.
I don't trust Juventus with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh no!
I've watched 2 of their games so far. There's 2 of their 3 games I believe they played this year. They've won all 3. but I don't like the way they look with Ronaldo in their team. I think he creates a huge black hole in like the balance. I don't think Valencia are good enough to win the group. They've twice dropped points already in La Liga with 2-2 draws to Eibar and Atleti, which young boys get out. Sorry, bye.
Go back to Switzerland.
So that leaves one team to win the group, and that's Manchester United. And it pains me to say that, but I'm going to go with United to win this group. I think that they're going to be a bunch of super boring, super close games that United gets by on, specifically home and away to Valencia and home and away to Young Boys. I'm going to put Valencia second, and I'm going to put Juve out in third.
I don't think we get. For me, I don't feel like we're gonna get any. I feel like the most we can get against Juventus is 1 point each. The most is what I'm expecting.
1 point each game, or 1 point
like
total?
like the best outcome for me, 1 point for each game.
So 2 draws.
Yeah, that's like the best I feel that we can get out of like our best performance for me.
I like the whole storyline of Ronaldo coming back to Old Trafford. I think it'll put a really big spotlight on that game, but I don't think that. I mean, I guess maybe it'll give Ronaldo an edge. He'll want to like perform in front of like his old, like on his old stomping grounds, basically. But I'm worried that it's going that environment and the even like further spotlight on that game is going to drive Ronaldo to be more selfish than he already is in this Juve team.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem with Ronaldo in this Juve team, is that it's the same thing that we saw at Real Madrid all the time, like other people scoring, not celebrating, like that sort of mentality doesn't work for Juventus. Like Real Madrid had the rest of the squad capable of coping with Ronaldo's style of play. And it just, for me, in my opinion, it doesn't work at Juventus. Like they would be a much better team, I think, with like Cuadrado on the right, Douglas Costa on the left, without Ronaldo. So I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm gonna have Juve out. I think you guys can. I think you guys are capable of getting. I almost can't say it, but I think you guys are capable of taking 4 points from Juventus in the 2 games, and because they're not playing that well, they're not as good defensively, and they're not as good going forward because Ronaldo disrupts their attack. So United 1, Valencia 2.
We'll see. I think once we watch United Young Boys, I'll feel it in my balls on what I'm going to pick. I mean, not pick, what I'm going to feel at that time after that result.
All right.
Well, that's been our Champions League predictions for you. Real nice and somewhat quick. But we got some good explanations. We argued a little bit. I heard from one of our viewers that they like us arguing a little bit of a disagreement.
I hate you. Come at me, bro.
But we are going to talk about one thing real quick. I think that was this past week this meeting happened, right?
Yes.
A couple days ago?
Yeah.
About taking away the away goals difference, or
the away goals rule.
Yeah, away goals rule that would put a team over another team. There's talks of it just going away because a lot of people were saying, like, you know, away games don't matter as much as they used to, which I don't know if that's a good argument or not.
Well, the creation of this rule goes back to, I think, the 60s. And the point was that teams were going away from home and just like completely 100% parking the bus for a 0-0 draw and then going home to win the game, try to win the tie there. And so they introduced this away goals rule to try to counter that. And now I think it's gone the other way, where the home teams are the ones that are hesitant now because they don't want to give up that away goal. And so they're the ones not necessarily coming out of their shell at home. And so it's had an adverse effect like the other way. I feel like the pendulum has swung.
Well, I think the times have changed definitely from the 60s. I think there's huge differences between squads in every group. And I could see this maybe working without it because I still think teams are going to go as hard, or I don't think it's going to change as much with the way it looks right now. But what would you have as the tiebreaker then?
Extra time and penalties. Like if it's 2-2, like if the first game is 1-1 and the second game is 1-1, you go to extra time.
I get okay. I don't know if that's realistic.
Why?
For like them to actually change it to that though.
Well, but they already go to extra time if it's tied without the away goals rule.
Mm.
So you just go to extra time if it's tied. Period. Like it's not really over the course of the two sets of 90 minutes. Like if if one team hasn't scored more than the other, then why should one team go through?
Well, then wouldn't the weaker teams then try to get into penalties? I guess.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Like I don't really see anything wrong with that. I do see, like there was
I
a
think you're gonna see more parking in the bus if that's like the rule though.
like you.
Because the only team, those teams that have no chance in the game are like the only chance for them is to win in penalties.
No, you have a chance to win if you outscore your opponent, which includes defending well and attacking well.
Yeah, but you just said the make the difference would be to go to extra time.
Well, how else would you decide? A coin flip?
No, I would say
Straight to penalties?
I think goal difference would be the difference for me.
But there wouldn't be a goal difference.
Oh, that's true.
Because it's 1-1 or 2-2. You know, like they've scored the same amount of goals and conceded the same amount of goals. That's why it goes to extra time.
Oh wait, never mind. No, I meant the you get the draw. The game ends, but as goal difference, as in.
I think you're thinking like group stage.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is about. Because like the group stage, the goal difference is the tiebreaker.
Because I feel like that's still. Wait, never mind.
The goal difference is the tiebreaker in the group stage. We're talking.
Jesus, I'm so off right now.
This is like knockout round.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was the Monaco City tie 2 years ago. It was like 5-5, and Monaco went through on away goals. I think because it was like they scored 3. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, that's what this is for. Like the like home away ties is what they're talking about here.
Okay. I don't know, man.
Like part of me, there is a small part of me that understands it from coming from like a small. So like we were talking about our predictions. Say Shakhtar Donetsk goes through in second place out of Group F, and then they draw Real Madrid, just as an example. Okay, so and they get a 0-0 at home, and then 1-1 tie at the Bernabeu, and. So, like, their one away goal, as the system stands now, would put them through. Like, I understand that sort of, like, if a team that small gets that sort of result against, like, a Real Madrid, then, like, yeah, sure. Maybe they deserve to go through. Like, they played out of their minds for those 2 games to get that result, probably. But just in general, as a principle, the away goals rule doesn't mean anything to me. Like, in basketball... You don't get a 2-pointer is not a 3-pointer if you're away. No other sport that I can think of off the top of my head does like whatever you do on the road matter. Like it's just, did you win the game? How many points did you score? Like how many goals? How many points?
You're coming in from like
I guess I am coming at it from an American point of view.
Like an American point of view.
Like in rugby, are there any I don't think there are any rules like that in rugby. It's like, did you win the games?
Well,
How
I think
many?
The scoring difference is a lot different. I'll grab it later. I don't know. It's different. I don't know. I think I don't care because I like the rule right as it is right now. Because I don't have a problem with it. I don't really have
I guess I do kind of have a problem with it, but I don't mind the way that if it stays that way, it's not really going to bother me. I'm just going to think of like that's the way it works. But but in the context of every other sport I can think of off the top of my head, it makes no sense. That's all.
I don't see a problem with the rules. If they want to change it, they'll change it. Then they change it. I don't have like a strong opinion on it.
So okay, so you're big into football, American football. So like, say in the college football, that's at a neutral site, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are the other two playoff games neutral site?
All of them are on neutral sites.
Every
Bowl game is on a neutral
NFL
site
then.
technically.
The NFC Championship game, whoever the away team is.
Yeah, but they're not playing 2 legs though. They're only playing one game.
Right. So why?
Your better comparison would be like baseball, because they're playing multiple games, and if let's just say,
but baseball can't end in a tie.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a different. I think it's because it's just a different sport. The only way is if they change it, they change it. Like I said, like maybe just have a golden goal, but then
like none of the other sports have ties, so that's what's part of the problem is.
I don't think soccer.
I think that's why football is the better example, because it's like if the away team.
I don't like the way the NFL goes about the overtime, anyways. So
yeah, because it's like the coin flip determines the game basically.
Yeah, so it's like it's less fun.
Anyway, I think it's a flawed premise, but I don't care. I'm indifferent as to whether or not they change it, but I think it's a flawed premise.
I'm fine with keeping it the way it is. I don't have a problem. If you're gonna at me, I don't care.
If you're gonna at me, don't forget to click that follow button.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't know why people are who's complaining about this. Really, the big teams.
Well, I don't know. It just said that like coaches were talking to him, and that's why they're reviewing it.
Yeah, I think it benefits the bigger teams. In my eyes,
I don't know. To me, the team that it benefits is. It depends on what happens in the first game.
Yeah.
Because like if
I think there's more, it adds more of a narrative to the game, and adds more excitement with this. I was like, wow, we gave up 2 goals. It was 2-1 at home for us, and they beat us, and they have a 2-goal or a 1-goal difference now. So we have to score 2 goals or, 2 goals or better to secure us getting out. I think it just adds more attacking mentality, which I don't want to shy away from. Like I think it's more of a guaranteed attacking mentality than if you take it away.
But what if you like win? If you win 1-0 away from home, like why is that worth more? And then you lose 2-1 at home. And you go out, like why should that 2-1 still just a 1-goal difference be worth more?
You're saying that.
What?
Are you talking about like winning 1-0 at way,
and then
losing
losing 2-1 at home
goals.
and you go out?
There you go.
Yeah, but the other team also gave up 2 goals over the 2 games.
Yeah, but they didn't give away up a goal at way.
But why should 1 goal count more than another? That's my point. It's like no other sport is that true for anything.
I guess, but if you look at baseball, like a team can beat one team 10-0 in the first game, then not score another run for the next 3 games and lose the series.
Yeah, but that's true in every sport, including soccer.
Okay. I don't know if you're trying. I'm not getting your point here.
My point is that no other sport has a more significant weight on the method of winning than away goals in soccer. Like, you don't get 1.1 runs for scoring baseball runs away from home. You don't get extra points or extra benefits for scoring more NBA points in the finals when the Cavs are in San Francisco.
We're not talking about the NBA though. I don't. So my thing is like I think that's all American kind of looking at it to where
basketball's played in Europe.
Yes, sure. Anyways, what I'm saying is it's like they've determined the rules for those sports a long time ago and how things end. This is like a thing they fixed back then, but it seems like it's working now.
FIFA had 100 years of not maybe not 100 years, at least 60 years of existence
Yeah, because
without this rule.
Because the initial, they didn't have that rule because everyone was basically parking the bus. Teams are going to park the bus regardless of this rule being there or not. Teams are still going to park the bus. It doesn't matter.
Fine, whatever. Change it, don't change it. I don't care.
Change it, don't change it. No one cares. Who cares? Why is it even in a headline? Jesus. Let's keep moving.
All right, final bit. The Nations League, specifically, I guess, the UEFA Nations League.
UEFA Nations League. Oh my God.
And international friendlies this week for our international break that's happening over, like, I guess Thursday. Today is the 7th, so the 6th through, like, the 10th-ish, somewhere in there.
Agreed. Interesting thing about this, it doesn't benefit your... I mean, it kind of benefits you qualifying. It just puts you in a better, draw to qualify if you end up winning your league and whatnot. There's not really much of a benefit.
Yeah.
That it is like where you automatically qualify. All it does is put you in a better draw to qualify.
Right.
If you win or playing well in the league.
So basically, I guess FIFA in general is trying to make these international breaks like a little bit more meaningful and interesting.
Because like you don't want to see like a France play like Lithuania or something like that, or a smaller team, and just like there's no. I mean, yes, Lithuanian fans are gonna watch French players, but most of the time, those big games are played in like those not in Lithuania in the first place. But I think it, like from what I saw, like the first day, it seemed more entertaining than usual because you had teams in the actual kind of level that they are kind of succeeding. Like Armenia, played. I don't remember who they played. Lithuania, maybe. Because Macedonia played Gibraltar.
Oh, maybe that was yesterday.
And like it just seemed more entertaining. It seemed like more of those teams were clicking better. It seemed like a better competition or a better way to deal with these friendlies. And also it can kind of put you on track to moving up in Europe in the sense of like playing better teams and being a better team in a way.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think it's a good change overall. I think it's most important for I would say it's probably more important for the B level teams and then maybe like the bottom of the A level teams, because you don't want to be the team that gets dropped down to Group B, like relegated or whatever. And then like all the B teams are fighting to be the team that gets promoted to Group A, which will help their draw for, I guess, the next Euros, which is going to be 2020. It does, I don't know. It kind of, for me, it was interesting to see especially when the squads were being announced, you could kind of tell how some of the nations were treating it just based on like how good or bad of a squad that they pulled in. And these are the first games really since the end of the World Cup as well. So like the France-Germany game that happened yesterday as of recording, nothing, like that game was pretty dull. It didn't seem like anyone really cared what was going on. I don't think that either one of those teams are in any danger of falling out of like Group A. So for me, like this whole nations thing doesn't affect them anyway. They're going to be in Group A. I think it kind of in a way protects it protects the traditional powers from like in Italy, maybe even Netherlands if they can get their act together, like from ever having to worry about qualifying really again, if that makes sense. Because like if Italy can keep themselves in Group A, they're going to be in really good shape. They're not going to get screwed like they did this last World Cup cycle, like when they were in Pot B and they got drawn with Spain, and like all the other big UEFA teams were like alone in their groups basically, all like the big ones anyway. So I don't know. It's something different. I guess it makes me mildly more interested in the international breaks, but
I'm just more interested.
It's like somewhere in between a friendly and like a qualifier.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm more or less interested in like the smaller games, not the big. Like I didn't watch the Germany France game. I watched the Croatia Portugal game.
Yeah, so I think like the B level teams, this is most important for them.
It's like those. I think those are more interesting. I like, and just watching like the smaller teams play each other, I think is better off. I think they're not going to get better. I mean, yeah, I mean they'll get better playing better teams, but like they're not going to really get better if they get smashed like 5, 8-0, 10-0 or whatnot against like the A group opponents.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just me.
Also going on this weekend, of course, as we said, international break. So plenty of international friendlies. A good mixture of like UEFA teams and then like bigger teams from around the world as well. Because I think all of the UEFA teams have, or not. I guess some of them do have 2 games that are part of this Nations League thing. Because the weird thing is that there's 3 teams per group. So like someone is like the odd man out every like time we're gonna do this, I guess. So like for example today Belgium and Scotland played a friendly. So I guess they don't have 2 UEFA Nations League games this break. So you wanted to talk. So one of the, at least for us, bigger of the international friendlies. There are 2 U.S. games. The first games for us since our failure to qualify for the World Cup. Well,
since France.
Well, yeah, but I mean since
us
like watching the World Cup without the U.S.
start basically.
So the first friendly, United States versus Brazil, is tonight, Friday night. And then there's a game against Mexico. So perfect. What's the lineup?
Bobby Wood up top. Well, they're running a 4-1-4-1. Bobby Wood up top. Julian Green on the left. What's McKinnon's first name? Terrence?
No. William? What? No, it's not William. I don't remember.
And then Tyler Adams in the middle alongside him with Areola. I forgot Areola's first name. On the right. Will Trapp right behind them. Robinson from... He's originally from Everton, but he's on loan, right?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know his first name. John Brooks and Matt Miazga in the middle. And DeAndre Yedlin on the right. And Stefan from Columbus. I forgot his first name, too.
Zach Stefan?
Zach Stefan, yeah.
I think so.
He's from, like, Bayern Munich that moved over or something like that. Played in Europe
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Big team for Brazil. The squad is listed here. This is basically a full Brazil squad. Alisson in goal, Felipe Luis, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Fabinho, backline, Coutinho, Casemiro, Fred, and Douglas Costa, Bobby Firmino, Neymar. No Gabriel Jesus. Is he on the bench? Negative. No Gabriel Jesus. Interesting. There were Charleston getting that call up.
They called up Andres Pereira, which is interesting because like there were talks of him going to Belgium.
Oh.
Or
Is he like a dual citizen or whatever?
Yeah, he was born in Belgium, but I think his father was Brazilian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so very interesting to see how the U.S. handles this game. Like, this is very similar. I guess it turns out anyway that it's going to be pretty similar to how the French game was, where it's like basically a full squad. Like when we played France, that was basically their World Cup squad that we came up against, and this is basically the Brazil World Cup squad that we're coming up against.
I would say maybe Thiago Silva might not be, maybe not.
I don't think they can replace Thiago Silva yet. Like, I don't know who that would be. It's
4 years from now.
It's not. No. I know, but like he is at this moment. He is their best option.
Yeah, but I think he might like I'm talking about for the next World Cup. I think you might see all these guys basically depending on their health and how their form is. But I think the only guy out of that might not be in that squad is him.
I would say that Thiago Silva would be unlikely to be there, and Felipe Luis would be unlikely to be there.
Yeah, because
I would put Alexander. I would guess anyway, personally, 4 years from now, that Alexander would be the starting left back for Brazil. But I'm glad to see that Brazil are playing a full squad, like a full-on, like Brazil team. This is going to be a good test for the U.S. with a relatively young, inexperienced lineup. Just what always bugs me about like the more games that we have that pass is that like who is evaluating this? Like who picked the team? who is watching this. Like, I guess they're just like gathering film for whoever the next coach is going to be.
Like you sent me a tweet yesterday about the coach being fine, or somehow they're gonna fill the position in by the end of the year. Which
Yeah,
I think is already too late.
Yeah, I do. I think as well, because there'll be like 2 more international breaks between now and then. One in October, one in November. I was listening to the ESPN FC guys talk about this. They were saying that that to them anyway, that indicated that the choice was going to be from MLS, because they were going to wait for the MLS season to end and then bring someone in from MLS.
I don't think that's a good sign, though.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't think there's any. The only person that I think from MLS that should be on the table is Tata Martino. But at Atlanta United, I don't know that that's something that he'd be able to that he would want to walk away from. But of the MLS coaches, that's who I would go with. Other than that, I think I want to see the coach come from outside. But in any case, like kind of circling back, I just don't. I always take these games where we don't have a manager kind of with a grain of salt. What is this? How is this helping us? Kind of thing. Besides just players getting experience, but like as a soccer federation, like this is of no benefit to us.
Mm. Yeah, I the lineup I think is close to what I want it to be. I guess Stefan's going to be the guy at the moment. It looks like the guy. What's his name? Horvath from
Horvath. Ethan Horvath.
He's playing. Where is he playing? He's playing somewhere, Vitesse or something like that, maybe? I don't know.
I don't remember.
He's playing like Belgium, I believe. I guess because he's made the move from Norway to there, which I don't know if that's much of an upgrade, but maybe it's Club Bruges. I don't know.
Don't remember.
He's playing at one of those clubs. Miazga, Brooks, I think everyone likes. It'd be interesting to see how these guys develop, and then how Cameron Vickers, how he's going to do at Swansea, and to see if maybe this might morph into a 3-man back with those 3 guys, and then moving DeAndre up. Just because the only issue is that I don't know if Robinson's going to be the left back that we've needed for like the longest time, all the way up to the
Come on, you don't want DeMarcus Beasley back?
Oh, that's okay. That's exactly why. But the midfield, I like. I don't have a problem with that. The wingers, I wish Julian Green would develop into the player that we thought he would be, but he hasn't. Bobby Woods up top, I'm fine with that for right now. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting how it's going to look. Areola's had a decent year, but that's only because like Wayne Rooney showed up and now he's kind of scoring goals. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I would like Timothy Way starting over all these guys, or whoever position that he would fit in, either it's up top or out wide. Obviously, Pulisic just hurt, so he's not there. And I'm kind of glad there's no one else wearing the number 10 shirt, too. Oh, no, never mind. Rolled in this, never mind.
I really don't get that, why there's like not assigned numbers.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, there's a Brumo was wearing a number 7 for Portugal.
Like, I have a number 9 Jordan Morris shirt because like that's what was available. But like everyone and their dog wears number 9. Like it's someone different every international break.
It is what it is. Like I always like to say, I think it'll be interesting because the game's gonna happen in like 2 minutes or something like that. But yeah,
this is true. It does start in 2 minutes. Yeah, and then obviously the games with Mexico are always intense. Anyway, I'm not sure. Is that a home game for us?
I believe it is.
Or is it a home game for us?
I mean,
or it's like in California or Texas somewhere, and it's like
Columbus,
basically not a home game.
No, it's a home game, I believe. Yeah, it's in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
There's some Mexicans there.
Yeah, sure, there is. And but those games are always like kind of in their own category. It's like a little bit special compared to like even games against like France and Brazil. Yeah,
because it's our rival.
It's not really about like testing out the team when Mexico comes around.
Yeah, it's about winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's been it? Is that it?
I believe so.
That has been it, ladies and gentlemen. across the pond
Look at this.
again.
Look at what. There's no tennis on my screen, but it's like, oh, we're gonna play a tennis video now. Like where?
Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. Also, thank you for listening to us on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Go ahead and subscribe to any of those services, and go ahead and like the video and share this with all, or video or audio, and share this with all your invisible friends that love soccer/football. I have been Richard Rodillo, been joined by my best friend, the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. We have been two American boys talking about soccer/football. Let's go.
We have been.
We're done.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. We're going to be back again. Bye.